Hi, good day to you and welcome to this month's live Q&A. I spoke about it yesterday during the daily news that we'll be gathering, and I'm certainly hoping that you've come with your questions and you're ready to be informed. I would say educated, because it's proven that parents are generally not as enthused about cyber news or cyber things in general. And that's, in my own opinion, humble opinion, absolutely sad, because our kids are worth every time investment we give. It is actually nothing to give time to make sure that our kids are shaded. And that's a key word that I normally use during our videos, that the kids need shading. It's not too late to raise your game, be informed so that you can, level up and be relevant. Very important. Be very relevant to their season, their era. The internet is the playground. The weather in most countries, especially colder countries, doesn't even permit outdoor activities as much. That's a deterrent. Very sad, but it is. I know that there's some who are creative enough to make it happen, but a majority of our young ones are binging on the playground, which no doubt is the internet. And so we should be investing a lot of time learning about the dangers that exist on that playground. And this is what we try to do. On weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 p.m., we inform you. And last Saturday of every month, we have a live Q&A allowing you to come. You can do it by email, like you'll find out shortly. I got a few emails through, and some anonymous, but all the same questions. And then there's an opportunity to jump on with me and, say it live with your video. And so there are lots of opportunities to be a blessing, not just to yourself, but to others who will no doubt feed on this information too at an opportune time. Okay? So yes, every month I do this. I just wait for you to come with your questions, and I do my very best to make sure that you leave refreshed and informed. Okay? Now, because I've done this now for quite a while, I do know that Saturday at noon is quite tricky. And I hate that I'm bringing it up again, but it is tricky in the sense that you're busy. As a parent, it's possibly the day set aside for shopping, visiting, and, recovering from the hectic week. So I get it. Thank God for the joy and the gift of YouTube. This information is archived so you can come back and watch it. But to make it engaging, I expect that you will turn up so that I can speak to you, inform you, and then others will, enjoy and benefit from that. So whilst you're here, like I said, I welcome you to today's live. Make sure you make yourself known by saying hi in the comments. Put a like. It helps get this information to the right people. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Okay? What I was going to say earlier was that because I've done this for quite a while, I do know that you don't turn up, either don't turn up at all or don't turn up in time. And what that means is we have a boring show. And we're not going to have that today. I've learned. And so I'm prepared. I'm going to address the questions that have come through, about 5 or 6 of them. I'm also going to highlight some of the trending, I call it hot and trending news. Not a repeat of what we do in the week, but just 1 or 2 things that have stood out, still standing out from the month of January. Okay? Okay. Well, that sounded rubbish. Sorry. But it was necessary. Okay. So what is hot and trending at this moment in time? And by that I mean, what crucial family-centered cybersecurity event can we put in front of you? Like I've said, the internet can serve as a conduit for radicalization of young individuals. And that is frightening, to say the least. Okay, the sort of things that I do know that the internet can expose our young ones to. And this is why, or one of the many reasons why we must gravitate towards this channel. A lot of time investment into getting this information right in front of you, so that you don't become a part or a statistic. And I scan not just the UK, I go global just to get the information and present it to you in bite-size, form or formats. All right. But our kids who are now on the internet, if they don't have the right protection, the right attention and concern from their parents, ultimately they can be exposed to inappropriate content. And I hasten to add to extremist content. Extremist groups often disseminate propaganda via social media, forums, and websites. And these present ideologies that can appeal to vulnerable children. And if you're in the UK, this will not come as a surprise, because the case of Axel Radakubana, the 17-year-old in the UK, it highlights how online exposure to violent content can influence behavior. Such a sad story. Despite being known to authorities for his extremist interests, Radakubana carried out a tragic attack, murdering 3 young girls, underscoring the impact of online radicalization. And this comes if you take your eye off the ball. Gone are the days where you could just leave your kids to be on their own. That's irresponsible, in my humble view. Our kids can't be left on that playground called the internet on their own, unsupervised, unless they've proven to you that they are internet wise or street wise, because the rogue is lurking. All the rogue wants is to grab them while they can do that. Things like online grooming and recruitment. This is another thing that is rife on the internet. Radical groups actively target young people through personalized interactions, and again, online. I said I'm doing global research for you. In the US, networks like 764 have exploited platforms such as Discord And even mentioning Discord, I won't be so surprised if many don't know what Discord is. Now, if your child is a gamer, they play games on the PS4, PS5, or the other gaming consoles, they use Discord to chat amongst themselves. And here we're learning in the US that networks like 764 have exploited platforms such as Discord and Telegram to groom and exploit minors, coercing them into harmful activities and promoting extremist ideologies. This network has been implicated in severe cases of child exploitation and radicalization. These are all happening on this playground that our kids engage on. I'm not frightening you. All I'm doing is making sure that you are in the know. And that's crucial. Crucial that you are aware that this place you let your young ones gravitate towards is truly a scary place. It's also a beautiful place. But like I say often, the rogue wants to mess it all up. You have other issues like social isolation and echo chambers. The internet can create echo chambers where youths are exposed predominantly to extremist viewpoints, reinforcing radical beliefs without counter narratives. This isolation can deepen their commitment to harmful ideologies. You notice that I'm focusing on radicalization this afternoon. And any parent's heart will be broken into really pieces to see, the case that I mentioned earlier about Axel. It's truly a sad story. The extremist viewpoints that we have mentioned, it deepens a commitment to a harmful mindset. And these things we don't want for our children. And the only way, in addition to prayer, is that we have to remain focused on engaging with them. Like I said, there's an age appropriation, so there's some kids that don't need supervision because you've been through that journey with them and they've proven themselves. But for the child or children that don't have that, you truly have to shape them. There's no option. Okay? Other things that are, linked with online engagement. I had to read the story of Axel. I'm going to mention his name as Axel because I think I'm damaging the surname. But it's mentioned, if you follow the transcript of events from when he was really young, he was known to glorify violence. Some online communities glorify acts of violence, portraying perpetrators as heroes. And this can entice impressionable youths to emulate such behavior. And no doubt Axel did that. And I'm sure it made him feel, I can't say whether this is true or not, but if you read his story, or at least testimonies from teachers that had oversight over him, he emulated such behavior, believing that he was part of a larger cause. Yes, I'm giving you ammunition to stay on course with your young one. Cannot have any excuse to, slow down. There's no option. You can't slow down. You can't. It's really, really sad. You know, there was a time when you see something really bad happen, whether it's on TV, whether it's, live, and you're broken. But there's the possibility of a desensity. You know, when you get desensitized to harmful content, that's continuous exposure to violent and extremist material can do exactly that. Desensitize the young one, making them more susceptible to adopting radical views and participating in extremist activities. And so if you needed any incentive, any catalyst, these examples that I have listed underscores the critical need for, vigilant monitoring of online spaces and a proactive engagement with your children to prevent radicalization. When a child comes to you and says, "Mom, can I have privacy?" or "Dad," I noticed the other day I mentioned mom and I didn't mention dad, and it seemed odd. Dad and mom. That's the mixture. That's the setting that will most benefit our young ones, doing it as a couple. Because our kids, if they had their way, they will get us to fight each other, mom and dad. Make mom feel special and dad feel rubbish, and vice versa, so that if they've done something wrong, one of the parties will be a balance in the equation, making it just slide. But if mom and dad are singing from the same song sheet, there's no way a child does that. There's no way a child manipulates the parents so that they can continue binging on this, again, forgive me for my strong words, this rubbish. So as much as we mean well, we have to have red lines, boundary lines to protect them. Like I said, there's a time where you hands off and then just stay in your room and pray, just, on your knees, and pray for them as they engage the world on their own. That will happen. That will happen, and it has to happen. And I'm praying that as parents, you'll be prepared. That at one stage or one day in their journey, they're going to leave. And when they do, I'm sure you would want them to be streetwise. But whilst they are with you, you are fully responsible. You only do that by engaging. Okay? So I thought I'll give you that. Like I said, Axel's story is really in the news, and we can't ignore it. It's really a sad story. Okay? I can see that some people are joining, but you've not said hi yet, so that I can know that you're there. And then I'm speaking to someone. It's really important that we do this, okay? I'll see if there's a hi or two. If there are none, then I'll go to the questions that I've prepared from emails and pings that I have received. And I'll present them on the screen so that we can go through it together, okay? I'll give it maybe 30 seconds. Just a hi, all right? Just a hi. If you're just joining, welcome to January's live Q&A. We do this every last Saturday of the month. As you can see, today is the last Saturday of the month at noon. And it's an opportunity for you to come and learn. A lot of work behind the scenes is done to make sure that you are informed. Okay, so you can consider this a worthy resource to help you on that journey. Okay? No? 10 seconds? No? I remember speaking to someone this, it can't be, this week. It's still Saturday. And I said that, man, if a content creator needed any reason to quit this thing, it is a live Q&A with people who don't show. We've become so comfortable. There was a time, and I know that I'm not bragging. I pray that you understand that. But the information I'm giving you now in my own time was either not available or too expensive to consume or to get. The internet has changed the way we approach life, and that's a good thing. We celebrate it. But there's some fundamentals, some things that, the human touch that we're failing. After all, we're humans. So no matter the evolution or the revolution, there's some things that are non-negotiable, and that's the human touch. That's what differentiates us from animals and these rogues. And we have feelings. The rogue doesn't have a feeling. They don't feel. All they want to do is cause commotion, havoc. And my duty, the channel's duty, is just to make sure that they don't succeed. But you've got to play with me. Got to make this happen together, okay? I can only do so much, but that so much is huge if one person gets saved from the harm that these rogues are keen to commit regularly, daily, when you're sleeping, when you're awake. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to the questions that I have prepared. No point stewing. Now, if I don't get... I think there is a message, but how come I'm not seeing it? No, maybe it's just the one that I've got here. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to the questions. We're just going to go through them and I'll summarize my answers because I really can't spend too much time on them. If you want to learn more, there's so much information on the actual YouTube portal. I've covered many of these things and no doubt will continue to. So the questions that have been asked, the answers are not repetitions, but at some point in the years that I've been on this platform, I have covered it to a large extent. And so I'll urge all those who ask more questions like these in the future to consume the content. We have playlists on the site or the channel that should allow you just zero in on what you are looking for. And then, of course, if you don't find answers there and you want to, ask them, then you use the YouTube or Facebook chats or the WhatsApp, email. There are many ways to get your questions to me, and we'll definitely address it. If we can't address it immediately from those platforms, or if we feel that many will benefit from the answer, then we'll either create a daily feed or a section in the feed that we do daily, or we'll wait till the end of the month and do this again, okay? But there's so much information on the portal. I'll ask you to go there, binge on the content, like the content, and subscribe to the channel so that you will be informed when new content like this drops, okay? All right, so we go to the questions, and there are several. I said there are 5. So we're going to look at the first question. And as far as I know, these questions, don't let this stop you from asking your questions. I'm just getting distracted by some of the comments coming on my side. So like I mentioned, if you're just joining, we're just starting the questions, addressing 5 questions from the past. I want questions today, but from the past, we've selected 5 questions that we're going to break down and address for you. But please don't feel that you shouldn't ask your own questions, because we're here to address both offline and online questions. Okay, our first question is from a community member, and the person, again, I'm not giving names, just don't feel led to give names. But this is a community member who is obviously concerned about keeping their kids safe online. And they've asked, how can I set up effective parental controls on my child's devices? And on one of the daily bulletins, maybe 2 weeks ago, I addressed this very issue of parental controls. Parental controls can help limit screen time. It helps break or block inappropriate content and monitor online activity. Use built-in features like Apple's Screen Time or Google's Family Link. And these obviously are available on an Apple phone or an iPhone or an Android phone, respectively. Third-party apps like Bark or Custodio, which I mentioned at the Daily Show, can provide more advanced options, set boundaries, and communicate with your child is what the channel will recommend. Set those boundaries. Communicate with your child. Have that open door policy. You must make sure they are in the know, and then you've made it very clear why the measures that you are implementing are in place. Don't do it behind their backs. That won't be a healthy situation. Get them to know that you're doing this for their own benefit. And once you do that, it makes it incredibly easy for them to, not mind. Because every now and then we need help. There's no one who doesn't need help. So our kids need help to, get about or get around. All right? If that answer is not sufficient, like I mentioned, if you go 2 weeks back on one of the daily shows, I covered this extensively, gave other examples, okay? Of course, if you want more, please either use the method you use to get to me to ask for more, or once this broadcast is finished, you put your questions or pose your questions via the comments, okay? So there was a second question. We'll go to the second question right now, and that's again from a community member. How do I teach my kids to recognize online scams or phishing attempts? Again, another area we covered, at least the phishing attempts. I think it was actually the first video, either the first or second video that we did when we started the series, or the Family Cyber News Daily. You look at the second video, if you go to the playlist, you see the second video, and then we dealt with this very thing. So how do I teach my kids, excuse me, to recognize online scams or phishing attempts? So as a parent, because I'm sure you're doing it from that capacity, as a caregiver, let me not make the assumption, you have to explain common scams like fake prize offers, suspicious links, or requests for personal information. You have to explain it diligently with them or to them. Teach them to verify emails or messages before clicking on links. It's very important. Encourage them to ask you if something feels off. Kids are savvy, and we must give them that. They're very sensitive. But we know that instinctively they know when something is off. Now, okay, if you are a parent who is hands-on and you constantly informing the child will know when something doesn't quite match or fit what they've been fed at home by the parent. Dad is constantly, or mom is constantly saying A, B, C, D, and then there's an E from nowhere. That's off. And if something feels off, you must encourage them to ask you, okay? Use child-friendly resources like Google's Be Internet Awesome to make learning fun. Kids love variety. They love variety. Who doesn't actually love variety? They just want things to make learning fun, because if truth be told, it's not fun to sit down and binge on stuff that is so wooden. So it's proven that if you mix it up, that you get, don't want to make it absolute, because there's some people who really can't be disturbed. They need to just focus, and bless them. That works for you. But when it comes to kids love variety, and they love things that will make learning fun. So anything that allows or promotes that is what I will recommend to you. Okay, I hope that has addressed your question. Like I said, I've covered this in an earlier video from the current series of Family Cyber News. I think it's the second one. And we've done this now for our third week starts on Monday. So you have enough information there. All right. So we'll go to the third question. Again, nothing from the live folks. So the third question is, what are the warning signs of cyberbullying, and how can I protect my child? The person who submitted this is anonymous for obvious reasons. What are the warning signs of cyberbullying, and how can I protect my child from it? We've covered this not in the current series that we're running on the platform, but we do have some of these links. I'll perhaps put them in the comments. But there is a video we shared years ago now on cyberbullying, and that will break this down, because cyberbullying is cyberbullying. It's always going to be the same. I know that these individuals change their patterns over time, but fundamentally they have the same structure. So the sort of signs that you look out for are signs that include sudden mood changes. All of a sudden, your vibrant young one becomes so introverted, so quiet, moody, withdrawn. You notice a reluctance to use devices or deleting accounts. It's just not the child that you as a parent, and the parent knows. You gave birth to them after all. You know your child. And so when these changes happen, you should know something is off. Encourage them to open up, encourage open communication in general, and let them know that they can share anything with you. Now, if there was a case or a time where you can snoop, this will be it. And this is the only exception where you feel that harm can come to your child if you don't use all the tools available. I expect many to object to this, and I would understand that. But the advice that we'll give, amongst the other ones that we've given already, is in addition to the open communication promotion, you can use parental controls or use monitoring tools to track online behavior discreetly. You know, as a parent, you don't need an excuse to love your child. You love them to death. And so a discreet approach to tracking online behavior to keep your child alive, no brainer. And if you do, through those discreet monitoring, you're able to find things, report the bullying to schools or platforms, the appropriate platforms that I will put in the comments. You must expose these individuals. Our children are worth. Anyway, I can't teach you. It's like preaching to the choir. There's absolutely no way I can teach you how to love your child. You must love them. Teach them empathy. Teach them kindness online. These are non-negotiables. Okay? We have a fourth question. We'll take a little break while I also check. I should have a mute button so that if I just mute it as I tech gives you everything. And also I'll mute it when I'm drinking because that sound a bit off. All right, so we have a fourth question. Nothing still. I know that you guys are here, so it would be nice to just say hi. So I stop bothering, okay? All right, our fourth question. Again, from a community member, we have, how can I ensure my child's social media accounts are safe? How can I ensure that my child's social media accounts are safe? It's very important that once the child is social media worthy, and that if you want me to break that down, a child has no business on social media. Most of the popular platforms, you can't use it if you're not legally 13 and over. I'm finding that in an effort to impress our children, we're allowing them get onto these platforms a lot earlier than 13. Now, is 13 a magical age or, limit or threshold? They say so, and if you can't ignore it. Now, I'll get to my point very shortly. You can't ignore the legal thresholds because they've done research. Research has informed the need for the appropriation or the certification. So we can't ignore it. If anything, use it to your advantage. But that said, you know your child more than anybody else does. So those things are guides. But they are informed guides. And so if they're saying legally that a child should not consume or engage on social media until they're 13, as a law-abiding citizen, and I'm saying that, you cannot be encouraging your child to do otherwise because you want to have a break. or you want to be free from hand-holding them. That's irresponsible, in my humble view. Okay? So set accounts on their social media accounts to private and review friend lists. So if they're 13 and you are engaging, you're hand-holding, you can encourage them to set their accounts to private and review their friends' lists. Like I said, it has to be done in appropriation. A child who is 17 will struggle with hand-holding unless they're that inclined. So you know your child and you know what works for your child. I can't nanny that. I can't baby that. That's on you. So these are guides. Set accounts to private and review their friends lists. So if you see a friend that you don't know, or if you see a friend's name that is a bit wonky, because some friends will have handles that have suggestive names, don't feel that you're intruding by asking, who is that friend? Let them tell you. Teach them not to share personal information or location details. You ask, how do I do that? I said I was just going to be summarizing some of these answers. But why would you ask them not to show or share location details? The rogue is patient. I want that to ring in your head. They are very patient. Okay? And I use that to say this, that in their patience, they would get one key personal information about you and hold on to it until they get another and another, several more, until they build a profile that allows them hurt you. And so if you can tell your kids not to share personal information and location details, you're frustrating the rogue. I know some young ones, even adults do this. They take pictures and behind them, you can see their door number. Okay, yes, you just see 22 or 57. Some even have the road name or street name. And it's not rocket science. Sooner or later, the information can be added to build a profile. So don't take pictures with your backdrop being your house. If there's a wall with no information, that's where you must go, but not with the information that the rogue can use against you. Encourage your children to avoid clicking on unknown links or accepting requests from strangers. Still looking at the comments. You guys are frustrating me. Use tools like Instagram's parental supervision features or TikTok's family pairing mode to monitor the activity. You notice I've only mentioned Instagram and TikTok because I know that that's where they binge. I had a good laugh with my son when I told him, elder son, when I told him, does he do anything on Facebook? I remember a long time ago, Facebook was the only place. But now it's for old cargoes. The trendy young ones don't use Facebook. In my defense, I still use Facebook for the group discussions or memberships so that you can learn from there. The activities work for me. That's why I'm still there. So don't crucify me. Facebook is still a thing. For what it's worth, Facebook owns Instagram. So I'm not that outmodish. All right. So I hope that has addressed your question. And we'll quickly go to the last. Excuse me. Our fifth question would be, how can you as a parent help your kids balance screen time and real life activities? And when I saw this one, this was slightly, it's not a bad question, it's a good question. But again, I've answered this in one of the videos on the current series that we have. And if you're looking for the playlist will be the Digital Wellness and Balance playlist. If you search for that, you'll find a video that talks about screen time and real life activities. But if I'm summarizing what this breaks down to, set clear limits on daily screen time, and you must lead by example. I make observations as I go. I invite, dialogue from every and any one, really. Anything that relates to family, I'm there. Because I want to learn, inform myself to the level where I become a blessing to my nuclear family, and then to all others connected to me. And if there's a chap who, every time I see him, he has headphones on and he's speaking. Basically, he's on the phone. He's a parent. Now, please tell me. I hope I'm wrong, but tell me that the children are not watching. I'm saying every time he has these headsets, blah, 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 blah. He's speaking. Now, it's quite possible, that's why it's not good to make these assumptions. It's quite possible that he needs to do that. And if that's the case, bravo to you, sir. Well, I've given it away. It's a guy. But it can't be a good picture. The optics are absolutely wrong for a young child seeing that posture all the time. And that's why the leading by example is so important. How can this fellow now speak at an issue when a kid is doing the very same thing? And for the person's sake, it will not be uncommon to have the child, in response to being told off for being on the phone, but Dad, you do it. So we have to lead by example. And in the context of the question about balancing screen time, excuse me, and real life activities, create tech-free zones. Like during meals. Like I said, the videos are there in that playlist. During meals or family time. Encourage outdoor activities, hobbies, or family games to reduce the reliance on screens. We've talked about blue light. Blue light impacts sleep. And a child who is binging on things on the phone, which is blue light, or TV, blue light, laptop, blue light, or tablets, will have issues with sleep. Your sleep patterns will be affected. It's proven. So as a parent, use apps like Circle or Unglue to enforce screen time limits gently. The kids will thank you for it. Okay? So those are the questions. I really was hoping that by now we would have received another question or two. If you're just joining, please make me feel your love. And if you have any question, please put it in the comments. We have a few more minutes to go. Again, I'll play it by ear. And if I have to go, I have to go. But I'll really welcome a question, at least one question from our online community. But for those who took the time to send those questions offline, I thank you. And I'm hoping that the answers I've given will be a blessing to you and others who will consume this content, no doubt, in the days, months, and years to come. Excuse me. I'm thinking of releasing a song, a song for my cyber community family. Yeah, I've thought about that. It'd be nice. In fact, two things that I'm hoping to do this year. And one has just dropped as I spoke, but the one that I definitely know that I'm toying around with is coming up with some lyric and possibly accompaniment to get a song that I can link with the channel. And maybe when things like this happen, when you're withholding questions from me and the audience, I'll sing for you. That's supposed to be a joke, but believe me, it's not far-fetched. I'm musical after all. And the second thing that I would definitely, and I'm planning to do that, is on a day that I am indisposed. No, the other way around. On a day when I am free, that I will be able to take my microphone, take my iPhone, take a tripod, and go to a school, either a university, a high school, or a secondary school. I don't even know what they call them these days, but ultimately go to a school during a particular time. And the reason why it will be more possible or effective in the higher schools is because they will not come and kick me out or tell me to leave the premises, because I will be legit. And then just ask questions, ask them key questions, a bit like the ones that I've presented, and get their answers live on camera. Of course, if the internet is decent when I'm doing this, I'll do it live and you see it live. But if I have to record, I'll do that too. And it will be clear. They will have mics. I'll be standing. The picture I have is just I'll be standing with the mic when I'm asking the question. And when they have to answer, they will have a mic. I think it will be beautiful, I said this year, it'll certainly not be winter, because I shouldn't suffer to do this. So it will be around the warmer time of the year. Get opportunities to do that. I think you'll benefit from their answers, because I'm speaking at you every week, and it will be nice to hear or get perspectives from real folks. Trying to achieve that, obviously, also on the platform by providing, whilst I'm it, I'll just show you, providing opportunities. Like, if, just for, as I'm closing this off, if you had something, and again, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want engagement. That's the bottom line. That's why I'm spending time saying this. That for this to be relatable, we've got to engage. And so it's not monotone. I'm just speaking. I know there's a place for that. But imagine if we do this together. And I have the platform that will allow that. Audio alone, or audio and video. You come on stage with me and I'll be in my corner here, and that box that's there is just waiting for you. So if it's audio, it'll just be your picture or some profile, whatever it is, because I'm bringing you in through Zoom. So your Zoom profile picture will be there if you want to do audio. But if you come in as video, you'll be as I am, and we'll all see you, and the stage will be yours. You can ask your question, All I have to do is behind the scenes send you the link for the Zoom. You come in. We'll prep a bit just to make sure that your best version is shown. But even that is not necessary because, well, it is necessary. But if it becomes cumbersome, then I just bring you as you are and then adjust on the fly. But ultimately, I want engagement. And engagement for us on the platform is golden. And I always say that because if we engage, the issue we're having with bringing in people or getting people to love the platform, to engage on the platform, will not be so painful, because YouTube, through our engagement, will say, okay, this is trending. And they will put this content in front of the people who fit the profile. Mothers, fathers, caregivers. You can see how it all works. So when you hear, please like, please share, please subscribe, as important as they are, we're doing it, and it appears redundant at times and monotonous, but we're doing it because YouTube will take that engagement and they use it to inform what they do with your content. So the gift to me, the gift to the platform, and the gift to other parents is through your subscription. And I've announced it enough times that subscription is free. All you have to do is click on that button. And what that mandates is that you will get informed when we release content. And if you want all our content or all that we do, the community pings and all that, then click on the bell that will come up when you subscribe and choose all. That way you will never miss any time we upload content. Okay? I was going to say it's a blast, but I'll be speaking to myself because it's been a blast for me doing what I've just done. I would have said it's a blast having you, but I've not felt you as I would have hoped I would do in the hour that I've spent with you. But that said, it's still not wasted. Like I mentioned, this is archived on the platform. I will no doubt send out this to those. Well, send it to all my social media handles, and that way you get to binge on this after the event. Okay? It's always refreshing when I'm able to pour. I've poured into you, and I'm praying that you use this information, you use the platform itself, and that you grow. You can never be too informed. Okay? The rogue changes, we've got to change. And so there's a lot that we can do together, and I'm certain that if we put in the time, that this won't be a bore, this won't be redundant, this will be useful information. Okay? Gotta go. Until Monday, when we continue our series, the Family Cyber News daily series. I've been your host, Lawrence Edem. Okay? God bless and goodbye.